Welcome to our second lesson on how to pronounce series, how to pronounce medical vocabulary for OET examination. In today's lesson also, we're going to be looking at another highly mispronounced words in medical setting. The first word we are looking at today is anesthesia. So how do you pronounce this one? This one has to be pronounced anesthesia. The T part, this syllable has to be stressed anesthesia, anesthesia. But in American English, this word is pronounced as anesthesia. But අපි මෙතනදී mainly focus කරන්නේ British pronunciation. So we can pronounce the word as anesthesia, anesthesia. So the anesthesia means the condition of not feeling pain, especially by use of special drugs. You know the meaning. යෝග මතක තියාගන්න ඕනි මේ anesthesia වචනේදී ස්පෙලිං ආකාර දෙකක් තියෙනවා. බ්‍රිතාන්‍ය ක්‍රමයේ තමයි ANAES. But ඇමරිකානු ක්‍රමයේදී ANES. Keep the difference also in your mind. Anesthesia, how we spell in American English and British English, but you can use whatever the way that you can like. But you must try to be consistent. If you are using British English, try to use British English all throughout. If you are using American English spelling, try to use that one consistently. Now look at this example. The procedure is performed under general anesthesia. Anesthesia. Now look at the second word. The second word is anesthetist. Anesthetist, the knees particle here, knees. This syllable is stressed, anesthetist. Anesthetist. Anesthetist is a person or doctor or specialist doctor who gives anesthesia during an operation. Again, here also, pay your attention to the spelling, ANAES, British pronunciation, American pronunciation, ANES. Now read this sentence with the correct pronunciation of anesthetist. The panels for children and pregnant women consist of an anesthetist, pediatrician, obstetrician, a general practitioner, and epidemiologist. In our first lesson, we learned how to pronounce pediatrician and obstetrician. So if you are new to this lesson, please refer that one as well. Now look at our third word. Third word is anesthetize. The kriyapade verb එක නිර්වින්දනය කරනවා කියන්නේ we can say anesthetize. Here again අපවසරයක් අර AE වෙනස British American ආකාරයේ තියෙන එක මතක තියාගන්න. ඒ වගේම තව දෙයක් තියෙනවා. මේ අග ZE අකුර. UK වලදී අපි verb එක අගට ZE ලියනකොට ඇමරිකානු ඉංග්‍රීසිදී ලියන්නේ SE. ඒකත් මතක තියාගන්න. Now anesthetize means administer an anesthetic to a person or animal, especially so as to induce a loss of consciousness. Now read this sentence with the correct pronunciation of anesthetize. Relief can be provided by anesthetizing the relevant intercostal nerve with local anesthetic. Our next word is anesthetic. Say it again, anesthetic. Anesthetic. Here, this syllable is stressed, anesthetic. When you come to spelling, you have to keep in mind that the difference between UK and American way of spelling. Okay. Now, what do you mean by anesthetic? If it is a noun, it is a drug that makes the body unable to feel pain. You know this. ඒ වගේම anesthetic can be used as an adjective as well. උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් නිර්වින්දනය හා සම්බන්ධය කියන බෙහෙතක් විස්තර කරන්න we can use anesthetic. Now look at these examples. With a local anesthetic, a patient is awake during surgery. There must be a full stop here. Or we can describe a drug using anesthetic as an adjective. For example, we can say an anesthetic drug, or we can say an anesthetic spray. We learned several words related to anesthesia. එක මෙන්න මේ වචනේත් උච්චාරණය මතක තියාගන්න නොඑක ආකාරයේ උච්චාරණය තියෙනවා. අපි මේක ප්‍රොනවුන්ස් කරන්නේ marijuana කියලා. මම නම් අහලා තියෙන මේ විදිහට. but මේකේ pronunciation එක ටිකක් වෙනස්. මේක ප්‍රොනවුන්ස් කරන්නේ marijuana කියලා. අපේ ලිසන් එකේ වැදගත් ඒ නිසා මේක මතක තියාගන්න marijuana. මොකද සමහර තැන්වල දැන් Cambridge dictionary එකේ තියෙන pronunciation එක marijuana කියලා. හැබැයි කොලින්ස් එකේ තියෙන්නේ marijuana කියලා. marijuana. හැබැයි හැම එකේදීම මෙන්න මේ වාන කියන එක තමයි නැත්නම් මේ වා මෙන්න මේ හරිය තමයි ස්ට්‍රෙස් කරන්නේ marijuana or marijuana. okay ක්‍රී කතාව ගොඩක් වලට marijuana නෙවෙයි marijuana or marijuana. අපිට ලිසන් එකදී හම්බෙන්න පුළුවන් අපි දැනන් හිටියේ නැත්නම් මේ කතා කරන්නේ අපි කියන marijuana කියන ගැන තේරුම් නොගෙන ආවේ. ඒ වගේ තව ස්පෙලින් එකක් ඒ වගේ තවත් ප්‍රොනන්සියේෂන් එකක් marijuana. There's another spelling as well as a pronunciation like that marijuana. Okay, there are so many different pronunciations, so we can go with that marijuana. Okay, now look at this definition. A drug illegal in many countries. That means in some countries it is not illegal. That is made from the dried leaves and flowers of the hemp plant. මේ හදාගන්න ගහට ඒ සාකේට hemp plant කියලා කියනවා. Now look at this example. Marijuana produces a pleasant feeling of being relaxed if smoked or eaten. So then learn the correct pronunciation of this word marijuana or marijuana or marijuana. Okay, there are so many different pronunciations, but according to Cambridge dictionary, the pronunciation is marijuana. So you can keep those different pronunciation as well as in your memory, because that will be useful in your listening task. Now the next word is, that is also very important in our OET, diagnose. But මෙතනදී මේක pronounce කරනකොට diagnose නෙවෙයි. ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට we hear that people tend to mispronounce මේකේ nose කතාව ඒ syllable එක stress කරනවා. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ක්‍රියාපදයක ඉංග්‍රීසියේදී දෙවන syllable එක තමයි stress කරන්නේ. නම් ඒ කියන්නේ නමුත් මේක හරි විශේෂ අවස්ථාවක්. මෙතනදී first syllable එක තමයි stress කරන්නේ. We don't say diagnose. No, it's wrong. We have to say that one, diagnose. Diagnose. Say it correctly. Diagnose. The first syllable is stressed. So you know what diagnose means? But read this sentence aloud to get the correct pronunciation. The specialist diagnosed cancer. Diagnosed cancer. The second one, his condition was diagnosed as some type of blood disorder. Diagnose. Get the correct pronunciation. This time we have to state the first syllable, not the second one. We don't say diagnose. No, we have to say diagnose. Now we look at the noun, namapadaya, may diagnose kriyapadaya, namapadaya, how we pronounce that one. It is different. Okay, diagnose kriyapadaya, namapadaya, diagnosis. මෙතනදී මේ no කතාව තමයි ඇදෙන්නේ. Okay, stress වෙන්නේ. අපි හඬ උච්ච කරලා ඇදලා කියන්න ඕනේ diagnosis, not diagnosis. We tend to pronounce this as diagnosis. No, it is wrong. It should be diagnosis. Diagnosis. අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ අකුර මේ ශබ්දය අපි ඕ කියලාම කියන පෙළඹෙනවා diagnosis. තනි ඕ අකුර. හැබැයි එතන ඇත්තටම හරි උච්චාරණය Okay, diagnosis. Okay, according to British standard pronunciation, it should be diagnosis. Okay. The next thing that we must be careful with, the spelling of the singular word and the plural noun. Singular noun එකේදී අගට තියෙන්නේ SIS. but plural noun එකේ අගට තියෙන්නේ SES. ඉතින් මේ ගොඩක් දෙනෙක් වරද්දන නිසා ඉතින් අපිට listening part එක මේ වචනේ ලියන්න හම්බ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ නිසා හරි spelling මතක තියාගන්න. එහෙමනම් ඒක වචනය diagnosis රෝග විනිශ්චය කියන්නේ. ඒකේ බහුවචනය diagnosis. මෙතන මේ අග කෑල්ල SES ඇදෙනවා sees. Okay, so we say diagnosis singular noun, diagnosis plural noun එක spelling වෙනසත් හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. This can be a tricky one for you. Okay, diagnosis and diagnoses. So if you hear diagnosis, you have to spell that way. If you hear diagnosis, then you have to spell like this way. It can be a kind of a tricky one for you at the real examination. So diagnosis means රෝග විනිශ්චය, you know that one. Now look at these examples. What was the diagnosis? Arthritis in both joints. A kind of a two people speaking. The second one, the doctor has made initial diagnosis. Here we have the plural one, but here diagnosis, singular one. And the next one, diagnosis of the disease is difficult in the early stages. So learn the difference between the singular noun and the plural noun, spelling as well as pronunciation. Now we look at the adjective. මේ වචනවලට අදාළ නාම විශේෂණ පද. So ඒ වචනය අපි ශබ්ද කරන්නේ, අපි pronounce කරන්නේ diagnostic. Here, diagnostic, again, not diagnostic. So that is kind of related to diagnosis. Okay, we can say adjective එකක් නිසා නාම පදයක් විස්තර කරන්න පුළුවන්. We can say a diagnostic test. Now look at this example. Jaundice is diagnostic of liver failure. And our number 9 word is another highly mispronounced word. අපි මේක කියන්නේ obese. ගොඩාක් දෙනෙක් කියන්නේ ස්ථූලතාවය අධික ස්ථූල කියලා කියන්නේ. We can say obese. No, මේකේ pronunciation එක adjective එකක් වශයෙන් obese. මේ second syllable එක තමයි stress වෙන්නේ. Okay, obese. මේ ස්ට්‍රෙස් පැටර්න් ඉංග්‍රීසියේ නීතියක් නැහැ. එකිනෙකට වචනවල ඉගෙන ගන්න වෙනවා. ඒතර මේක තමයි අමාරුම දේ ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාව සම්බන්ධයෙන්. ස්ට්‍රෙස් පැටර්න් ඉගෙන ගන්නකොට නීති තියෙනවා. නමුත් ඒ නීති කැඩෙන අවස්ථා වැඩි. ඒ නිසා we have to take word by word and try to understand how to pronounce them properly. Okay, so obese. ස්ථූල කියන්නේ. Now look at this example. අපි fat වඩා අපි දන්න ස්ථූල කියන්නේ ඒක medical condition එක. Okay, yes. So extremely fat in a way that is dangerous for health. Now look at this example. She was not just overweight, she was clinically obese. And මේකේ නාම පදය මේකත් වැදගත්. අපි කියන්නේ obesity. අපිට හැම වෙලාවෙම ලංකාවේ මේ වචනේ උච්චාරණය කරනවා හෙන්නේ obesity කියලා. No, it's wrong. The correct pronunciation is obesity. දෙවෙනි syllable එකයි stress වෙන්න ඕනේ, not පළවෙනි syllable. Obesity නෙවෙයි. We don't pronounce the first syllable stress කරන්නේ. We don't say obesity. That is what we hear in Sri Lanka. But it must be the second syllable. So we have to say obesity. The පළවෙනි එක ඔව් ශබ්ද ගන්න බැරි නම් ඕ කියලා ගත්තර කමන්නේ. හැබැයි ඒක pronounce වෙන්න ඕනේ obesity. Okay, yes. ස්ථූලතාවය කියන අදහස. Now read these examples aloud. A diet that is high in fat and sugar can lead to obesity. Now we have a long sentence to read. How we can read that? We suggest that obesity prevention programs consider assessing depressive symptoms in order to more fully capture the potential risks of adolescent girls. Try to say it in a natural pace. And okay. So in today's lesson, we learn another highly important 10 words for OET examination. Try to learn the word, try to learn the correct pronunciation, and say them loud until that you are able to make or pronounce the word with the correct stress pattern. Then, so last but not least, if you find this video helpful, please subscribe and help us grow. And you can share these videos as well with your friends and colleagues who want to do OET examination. And see you again with another OET pronunciation lesson.